Chodesh Tov, everybody. We are in Rosh Chodesh Tamuz, and Rosh Chodesh is a very, very auspicious time, very powerful day, a day that can affect the rest of the month. That's why it's called Rosh Chodesh, the head of the month. Rosh is also Reshit. Reshit is the beginning. And when things happen in an unbelievable Hashgacha Pratit, and I notice it, then I love it the most. And when I see the connection. And we are in Israel, so we are already one step ahead. But the majority of the Jews in the world are in the diaspora. They're reading Parashat Korach. We're reading Parashat Chukat. But when I was preparing the class, you know, we're a very small group here, but there's a large amount of people online just watching it. And nevertheless, there's still, even though I feel bad for them being outside of Israel, but nevertheless, we still have to see the connection to everything. And the rest, most of the Jews, the rest of the world is reading Parashat Korach. When you're looking at Korach and what's going on in Rosh Chodesh Tamuz, in the month of Tamuz, the connection is just unbelievable, amazing. Besides the fact that I tell a lot of times to people, yes, we would learn during the week Parashat HaShavua. But nevertheless, it doesn't mean that I can learn from a certain message from a different parasha and apply to this week. It doesn't mean that that week that the parasha is over and that's it. I completely ignore what's going on in the parasha. But nevertheless, so we'll talk a little bit about Korach. I'm just going to talk a little bit about what's going on there because it's so connected to the month of Tamuz and specifically the Tikkun of Tamuz. The reason why we have the classes in the beginning of the month is because I have an opportunity and something unique, and I have to seize the moment. So I'm going to give an example that doesn't make much sense, but you'll get the point. If I go to Italy, then I eat kosher, so I don't have this issue. But you go to a certain country, I go to Italy, you go to eat the authentic Italian food. You're already in Italy. Where you go to eat? You go to Poland to eat pizza? Go to Italy to eat pizza. So sometimes you go to a certain place and somebody tells you, well, you didn't go to this location. That's the thing about this place. So same thing here. We have a Rosh Chodesh. Now is the opportunity for me to mold, so to say, to design the rest of the month. And we're going to talk about it throughout the class. But this is the opportunity, Rosh Chodesh, that I have an opportunity to do something in this month, but I need to know what. What is my tikkun? What is the auspicious opportunity, specifically in the beginning of the month? So, what was the theme of the story of Korach? That Korach, of course, he had jealousy to Moshe Rabbeinu. Then he thought he deserves something that he doesn't. He wanted something, he wanted to be a Kohen. And what was the result from that? That he brought a machloket. Machloket is a disagreement, an argument. And machloket, if you're looking at the word, if you cut the word machloket in half, then you have one word will be chelek. Chelek is a part, or lechalek is to separate. And then you have another word in it, mavet. Chelek mavet. Machloket is chelek mavet. Portion in death. But even if you only take the word chelek, chelek is a piece or part, or lechalek is you cut something in half. So Korach, that's what he did. What was the result of Korach? The worst of all. He wasn't killed. Technically the Torah could have killed him, stoned him, or whatever. He got it the worst of all, that the ground swallowed him. This is a very unique death. We don't find it anywhere. But what is really the result? That he was left with nothing. You want it all, you get nothing. Now, when a person is affected or is consumed or is part of a machloket, a disagreement, then there's a wall in front of his eyes and he can't see the truth. That's the problem with most people, is that they're in a machloket, they're in a disagreement, and the result of the disagreement is that you don't see the truth. You see your part. You don't see what's going on around you. Now, what was the problem with Korach? Korach wanted to be a Kohen. That was the bottom of it. He wanted to be a Kohen. Why are you a Kohen and I'm not a Kohen? I want to be a Kohen. Not that it's such a, when you're really looking at the job description, I don't know why you want to be a Kohen. You're a butcher. Why do you want to be a Kohen? Be happy with what you have. Nevertheless, he went against Moshe Rabbeinu. He found who to go against. Go against somebody else. As they say, pick on somebody your own size. You go against Moshe Rabbeinu. The Zohar says something very, very extreme about Korach. It says, the camel wanted horns, so they cut off its ears. That's what the Zohar says. הגמל רצה קרניים, חתכו לו את האוזניים. Korach he was a camel, he looked at the bull, sees a big, nice, strong bull with beautiful horns, and he says, hey, I want these beautiful horns. Oh yeah? You want something that doesn't belong to you? We'll cut what you have also. So not only you're not going to get the horns, we'll cut your ears off. That's what happened to Korach. Why do you want something that doesn't belong to you? And because you want something that doesn't belong to you, what would be the result? What you have will be taken from you. That's when the Zohar goes very extreme and says, that's what happened. You wanted something that belonged to somebody else, you're not going to get it, and what is yours will be taken from you too. Comes okay? The big question, why? Why? What was the big deal? I also want horns. Why can't I get horns? The book of Mesilat Yesharim says that jealousy, besides being a severe sin, is equal to stupidity. That's what it says. I'm quoting words. Don't blame me to anything. It says tipshut, kinaz tipshut. It's stupidity. More than that, the word that he uses is choser da'at, that you don't have any common sense, any comprehension to the reality. That's jealousy. Where do you come up with this low behavior? You're jealous of somebody else? Nevertheless, this is what's going on with Korach. In order to move one step forward, I'm going to have to take a little detour, explain a little very deep Kabbalistic concept that is not so easy to understand. I will try to, as much as possible, to give it over. The ones who are aware of it or knowledgeable about it, then they will definitely see the great chidush, the twist in it. But in order to get to the point, I have to make a little preparation. We're going to sidetrack a little bit. There are two ways how the world is being governed. The word in Hebrew is called Hanhaga. The master of the universe, he's the king, he's ruling the world. There are two ways how he's controlling the world. One of them, and of course I'm sure all is familiar that the way that the Kadosh Baruch Hu controls the world is through the 10 sfirot, the 10 emanation. But there's another level to it, and when you really want to be more learned about this topic, the place where you can learn about it more in depth is specifically in the teachings of Rav Ashlag, specifically in his books that are called Talmud Eser HaSfirot, the first chapter and the second chapter, if you want to learn it more in depth. And he explains that there are two ways how the Kadosh Baruch Hu controls the world. One of them is called Sfirot Yosher, and one of them is called Sfirot Igulim. Sfirot is the emanations, and one of them is called, I don't know, really the translation will not be so great, but one of them is called Sfirot that are in a straight line, and one of them is called Sfirot that are go in circles. So there's a kav, there's a line, and there's a circle. And if you learn a little bit of Kabbalah, maybe you heard the terms of a kav and a circle, a igul. So for example, the Sfirot are divided into 3 kavim, 3 lines, the right side, the left side, and the middle. But nevertheless, here he's talking about that the way the Kadosh Baruch Hu controls, governs, manages, oversees the world, one of them is through the Sfirot when they're going in a line, and this is called Sfirot Yosher, and another time is when the Sfirot are going in a circle. Okay, this is very, very general, and I'm just going to go a little bit to that's it, you get the point. Sfirot Yosher means that there's a kav, there's one line, and through this line, the light of Hashem goes through it. Now, to sidetrack from the sidetrack, many times in the teachings of Kabbalah, you hear the term Or. And Hashem is also called Or and Sof, the infinite light. Or it doesn't mean a light like from the light bulb. It's not the light that I see with my eyes. Turn the lights on. This is not what it's talking about. Or means a he'ara, that Hashem shines or bestows His wisdom, His greatness on a creature. So when Hashem shines His light into the world, we are not able to see Or Ein Sof. Even Moshe Rabbeinu was not able to see Or Ein Sof. En Adam sherani v'chai. You can't see Or Ein Sof. So it has to be contracted into Sfirot, that the light is being contracted through a filter system. When Hashem is, so to say, shining His light in the Sfirot Yosher, the light is going in a line from above to below, and the light goes through the kav. Okay, try to also be a little bit, use your imagination. The light has to go through a line. And what's the order? Milemala lemata. One is above, one is below. And the way it works that through the kav, everybody gets the light, but every person gets it to his level. If you are a little bit knowledgeable in the teachings of Chassidut, Chassidut will teach the same idea, different concept, that there's a or mekif, a surrounding light, and there's a direct light. Two ways how the light is being given. Or makif, everybody gets the light equally, and specific light, and it's affecting every person according to his capacity, his, hers, and so forth. So the next option is what's called igulim. That's when the sfirot are in circles, and the light is being spread to everybody equally. So when the sfirot are sfirot yosher, every person will get his quantity, so to say, based on their level, on their kli, on their needs, and so forth. And when the light comes through igulim, it's all circle. Where do you see this idea of a circle? The last time you were in a Hasidic wedding, how do you see the people dance there? They all dance in circles. They don't dance in they just dance in circles. So there is a reason why they do that. Because if I'm dancing, I'm holding everybody and we're all going in a circle, we're all equal. The rabbi, the student, they're all on the same level. This is a more, I don't know if you want to use the word futuristic, but la'atid lavo, in the future, we're going to be nourished by the sfirot in this way that it's called igulim. Where do we see that the sfirot are in a way that is separated? Then we see it in nature. That every person gets according to what they need. And not only that, according to what they behave and their kli, but we also see in nature the sfirot that are coming, what's called sfirot igulim, that we all get nourished by Hashem even if I don't do any action. One might ask, how can it be that a wicked person slanders, lies, cheats, rapes, kills, and Hashem gives him air to breathe? You would think that Hashem would make him disappear. But this is where you see that the Or Ein Sof is given to everybody equally, without, doesn't matter how you behave, good or bad. Okay. Why specifically the word circle? Because igul is the only shape that we have that is equal. A square, you mean this corner is different than this corner. A triangle, whatever it is. Circle, anywhere you're going to stop on the circle, it's equal to the other stop. Okay? Now, when we're looking at the Yosher, the Sfirot Yosher, what's the most dominating part of it? One is on the top, one is on the bottom. This is what we have right now. There's somebody on the top, and there's somebody on the bottom. There's always a hierarchy. And usually how it is, the one on the top will control the one on the bottom. That's the idea, the concept of Sfirot Yosher. This is the time of exile. There's always going to be one on top of the other. Sfirot Igulim, what's called Le'atid Lavo, very soon when Mashiach is going to come, we're going to be in a phase that is called Gmar HaTikun. Now we called Zman HaTikun. Now it's called the time of rectification. The second Mashiach comes, we switch the position, and this is called Gmar HaTikun. We finished. We're done. At the time of Gemara Tikkun, then the Hanhaga, the control to the world, is called Hanhaga Shava. Everything is equal. We're all going to be equal. There's not going to be difference. There's not going to be a Moshe Rabbeinu. There's going to be, everything is equal. And everybody will be equal. But this is Latid Lavo, this is after Mashiach comes. Why? Because it's after the Tikkun. Now, we're in Zman HaTikkun, we're during the Tikkun. I know many people will say, listen, we finished the Avodat HaBirurim, right, but we're still in Zman HaTikkun. Mashiach is not here, there's still what to fix. During Zman HaTikkun, anything that will come in the form of a circle, Sfirot Igulim, is controlled by the Sitra Achra. Which means the highest of all right now is in the control of the worst of all. The Sitra Achra, the opposition to Kedusha, is holding right now the highest level because it's all equal. And Begmar Tikkun, when we're going to finish, then the Igulim, the circle, that will be in control. So right now, we're upside down, so to say. Now again, and I'm talking very, very briefly on a very deep concept, just so we can get a certain idea. Now let's go back to Korach. What does it say that Korach was his fault? It says, Eino hit'ato. His eye fooled him. That's what it says. Why the eye? His eye looked at the world, and it's maybe I shouldn't use the word fooled, rather lehatot is to, when I make you do a mistake, to mislead. I mean, that's a nice word, but not 100%. To trick. Very good. Sometimes, when I was a kid, I wasn't such a good student in school. And believe it or not, I was the nightmare of all teachers. And when it came to the test, I didn't know nothing. So you know what I would do? I would tell the person next to me, give me your paper so I can copy. Now, if the person would say no, I'm going to punch to his head, give me the paper. If he would say yes, I'll protect you later on in the playground. So, of course I can't lie. That was the reality. Now, anyways, so one time, there was a kid sitting next to me, and you know what he did? He gave me all the wrong answers. And I was sure I'm going to get a straight A. I get the paper back. I got 35 out of 100. Right away, if there would be background music, I turned around to the person, and I was like, I got a 35. And he was like, you dead. This is called lehatot, to mislead me. He gave me the wrong answers. He made me mistake. He tricked me. So it doesn't matter what was the end, but nevertheless, the eyes of Korach made him, they mistaked him. They fooled him. They tricked him. Now, when you're looking at our body, what is the only organ in the body that is round? Our eyes. There's no other organ in the body that is round or has any equal shape. The eye, perfectly shaped, perfect circle. So when the Zohar says that his eyes made him, tricked him, or made him, again, the word is lehatot, to fool him, Korach saw the future. He saw how the world is being governed and controlled, the anhaga of circles. Everybody's equal. Kol ha'kedoshim. What does Korach say? We're all holy. Why do you think you're holier than me? Now really, Korach is a tzaddik. It says, le'atid lavo, he will be a mamash tzaddik. You know where we learn that? There's a verse in Tehillim, tzaddik katamar ifrach. What's the sofei otiyot, the last letters of tzaddik katamar ifrach? Korach. Korach was a tzaddik. Don't look at him now that he made a big sin. Korach was already living in the future. He already saw, he had Ruach HaKodesh. Korach was not some shmegeg, some hoodlum. Korach was a very high level soul. Korach saw into the future. You know what he saw? Shmuel Navi. He says, look, a Navi is coming out of me. The Navi that is going to anoint David HaMelech. He saw his sons. You know what tzaddikim bnei Korach are? So he saw already the future. He saw his lineage. He saw into the times of Mashiach. And he saw already the Hanhaga, how the control of the world is through Sfirot of Igulim. So he comes to Moshe, we're equal. Why do you think you're better than me? When the Hanhaga, when the control is Derech HaKav, there's one above me. And I know somebody's above me. You better know somebody's above you. If you don't know somebody's above you, that's a big problem. Has to be always somebody above you. Moshe was above Korach. Korach looked a little bit into the future. He didn't see that, and that was the mistake. That's why the Zohar says he was fooled. He was tricked. His eyes tricked him. And why eye? It's not that the eye itself, but the eye is circle. He saw the circles, the idea, the concept, and he was fooled. Now, what really did he see? He saw into the future. Kol ha'edah kedushim. Everybody, all the congregation are holy. That's what he said. Why you think you better? And we're all holy. Now, what is the root of all this? This is where we finally, after the short preparation, we come now to the month of Tamuz. This is the root. Now, there are many different books that we can learn a lot about the Chodeshim, about the month, and so forth. One of them is a very famous book. It's called the Bnei Sachar. In the book Bnei Sachar, he asks a question. How come? Lama Bnei Israel mitpalelim ve'enam ne'enim? Why is the Jews, the nation of Israel, pray and they don't get answered? I'm sure you had a few prayers in the past and you're like, well, something didn't work, didn't get answered. So he answers it, Lo yodim lechaven b'Shem. They don't know how to have the right in kavanah on the name of Hashem. Open an average Sephardi Siddur, it has always this kavanot. What to think of, what letters you have to meditate on in the names of Hashem. And what does the Bnei Sachar say? They don't get answered, the prayers don't get answered, because they don't know how to have the right kavanah on the name of Hashem. Now we're going to have to sidetrack a little bit, talk about another concept, very interesting. Sometimes some people find it a little bit hard to follow. I'll try to go as slow and as clear as possible. Every month, that I spoke about many times, every month, the name of Yud Kei Vav Kei gets renewed. That's why it's called Chodesh, Rosh Chodesh, Hitchadshut. Something is new. And which means that every month there's a certain shine coming into the world. How is the shine coming to the world? Through the name of Yud Kei Vav Kei. An analogy that I explained once, in length, take now a beam of light and throw the beam of light on the wall. The light that's going to be reflected on the wall will be most likely either white or yellow. Now take some type of a filter that has a color, put, let's say, a red filter between the beam of light and the wall. Now the light is going through a red filter. What would be the light on the wall? Red. Switch it to green, the light on the wall, green, and so forth. When Hashem, so to say, shines His light into the world, the filter system that it goes through is the letters of Yud Kei Vav Kei. Depending on the order of the letters, that's how the he'ara, the shine, or we will call it energy, will penetrate into the world. And every month, the order of the letters of Yud Kei Vav Kei switch. There are 12 combinations. And they switch. Depending how the light will go through the letters of Yud Kei Vav Kei, that's what's going to be the shine or the he'ara in the world, the energy in the world in that month. That's why it's called Chodesh. Chodesh means hitchadshut. Something is changing, something is new. Brand new energy comes down to the world. Now, again, we're talking a lot about the word he'ara or light. Don't ever imagine a light bulb. We're not talking about a light bulb. He'ara means enlightenment or illumination. Illumination is not really accurate. I would say more enlightenment. It's nothing to do with light. Now, there are 12 combinations of the letters Yud Kei Vav Kei. And what does the combination do? That's why I told you that we have to take the opportunity, seize the opportunity. The combination of the letters in the beginning of the month has the power to sweeten all the judgments of the month that we're about to get into. So now is the month of Tamuz. There's going to be dinim that's already decided up front what would be the tzimtzum of the month of Tamuz. And I have the ability on Rosh Chodesh to sweeten these judgments, sweeten these dinim. Now, how do I do that? Is when I do something in advance, in Hebrew it's called merosh. If I order something, ani mazmin merosh. You make reservations to a restaurant, I'm not there, I'm only coming tomorrow. But I do it ahead of time. That's why again, Rosh Chodesh. It's the head. I do the head. Rosh Chodesh is when I am able to do something ahead of its time. So now is the perfect time to meditate on the combination of the letters to know how I can sweeten all the dinim, all the judgments for the month to come in front of me. Now, I'm sure you heard the term, the verse in the Mishnah, Hakol tzafui, everything is already predicted, v'hareshut netuna, but you have permission. This is a Mishnah in Tractate Avot that it says everything is predicted. But nevertheless, I am giving you permission or the ability to change things. What does it mean, Hakol tzafui? Everything that is about to happen is already predestined. Everything is already designed, even before you're born. Who you're going to marry, when you're going to marry, where you're going to live, what's going to be a business, and so forth. Now, when it says Hakol tzafui, we want to look at the Kabbalistic term here, or the Kabbalistic approach is, what's going to be the tzimtzumim? Because the light is shining in a way that has to be a tzimtzum, has to be a contraction. Hakol tzafui is Hashem already knows when it has to be a tzimtzum. What does it mean, a tzimtzum? Sometime in your life, you're making a lot of money, and sometime in your life, nothing's coming. What's going on? I'm not getting any money. 2 years ago, I was doing very well. Now nothing's got. This is a tzimtzum. This is a form of a tzimtzum. Once the money came easy, now it's not. Same thing with can be with relations. It can be a period that I'm not getting along very well with my wife. What's going on? We had a very good relationship. Now we're not getting along. Tzimtzum. And examples are numerous. You got the idea. You kind of understand what it means, a tzimtzum in my life. There's a reason why. You know that sometimes too much of something is not good for you. My kids, they have chores around the house. One of the chores is water the garden. You know what I tell them all the time? Don't blast the water. You blast the water on the flowers, you'll kill all the flowers. Make the water soft. Just sprinkle the water. What's the difference? I'm giving them water. Yeah, but if you're doing it strong, you're going to destroy them. That's a tzimtzum. Contract it. Sometimes too much is not good. Hashem knows what's the tzimtzumim. That's what it means. Hakol tzafui. Hashem already knows when he's going to have to contract the light. Now, but it also says, Hareshut netuna. I have permission. What does it mean, Reshut netuna? I can correct something in advance. I can, once I'm already in it, that's it, you're done. But I can do that up front or ahead of time. When I plan the right way, I'm now flying abroad, I book my tickets way in advance. That's it, you book your tickets, that's what you're sitting. I can't come in the middle of the air and say, I don't like this seat, put me over there. Well, you already booked your tickets. Or sometimes you fly, they're giving you the food. I didn't order this, I ordered the kosher meal. That's what you ordered before, that's what you eat. So I'm giving some examples to understand that when you do something ahead of time, you have the opportunity to change it. Once you're already in it, can't change it. That's why again, Rosh Chodesh, Reshit, ahead of the Chodesh. Now we have an auspicious time. So how do I sweeten the judgments? I want to do something before the time, ahead of time. I have to add in a lot of rachamim. We have chasadim. This is coming from the side of chesed. There's dinim, judgments coming from the side of gvura. And in the middle, there's rachamim, mercy. When there's a lot of dinim, what do I need to do? Sweeten the dinim. Sweeten the judgments. You can't cancel the judgments. You have to sweeten the judgments. If you follow many mitzvot that we do, it's to sweeten judgments. I said that many, many times. One of the many reasons why we do Kiddush on Shabbat, yes, we're commemorating the creation of the world. We're commemorating the going out of Egypt. Yes, Zecher Letziat Mitzrayim. But really what we're doing, we're taking wine that is the root of wine is in Gvura, that's why it has to be red wine. We've added a little bit of water, which is chesed, and then what we do is we hold the cup in such a way that we're raising our fingers up. What is the act that we do? We're sweetening the judgments. We're taking the wine that is rooted in dinim, and I flip it over. and I point it up. So I bring chesed into the din and I sweeten the judgments. Shabbat is hamtakat dinim. Now again, now is not so much the time to start explaining every concept. For the ones that are familiar with what it means hamtakat dinim, good. For the ones that are not, you have to learn a little bit more. But really, now is not so much the time to explain every little thing. But nevertheless, I want to sweeten judgments. Constantly, I want to sweeten judgments. Rosh Chodesh is the time. How do I do it? I have to bring in rachamim. Now, what does it mean, rachamim? Rachamim means light. Light means the name of Yud Kei Vav Kei. That's to bring in rachamim. Yud Kei Vav Kei is rachamim. When you write the letters of Hashem, Yud, and then a Hey, and then a Vav, and then a Hey, that's the ultimate rachamim. Most rachamim. So I have to bring into the dinim, rachamim, the name of Hashem. How do you do that? With mitzvot, Torah, and so forth. Now, every month, the order of Yud Kei Vav Kei changes. And there is a rule. The rule is that when the Hey is in front of a Yud, this will be din. When the Yud is in front of a Hey, that will be rachamim. What does it mean, Yud in front of the Hey? Yud, Hey, and then a Vav and a Hey, then the Yud is before the Hey. When is the opposite? Then it would be Hey, and then a Yud. This is din. Yud in front of a Hey, that's rachamim. Vav in front of a Hey, this is rachamim. And Hey in front of a Vav, this is din. This is the rule. Because imagine the name Yud Kei Vav Kei. So it can be Hey, Hey, Vav, Yud. It can be Yud, Vav, Hey, Hey. And so forth. You understand what I'm saying? You switch the order of the letters. Okay, so remember the rule. Hey in front of a Yud is din. Yud in front of the Hey is rachamim. Hey, Vav in front of the Hey is rachamim. Hey in front of the Vav is din. Now, there are 4 letters in the name of Yud Kei Vav Kei corresponding to 4 weeks in the month. And don't be now technical, but January has 31 days. There are 4 weeks in the month. And that's corresponding to the 4 letters of Yud Kei Vav Kei. Now the first month in the calendar, in the Jewish calendar, is Nisan. This combination of Nisan is exactly how we write Yud Kei Vav Kei. The ultimate rachamim. Yud in front of a Hey, Vav in front of a Hey. This is the most that we can get rachamim. It's called rachamim gmurim. That's why the entire month of Nisan, we don't say tachanun. We don't do so many things. We have Pesach. Why? Rachamim gmurim. Yud Kei Vav Kei. The order is perfect. And it will change. Constantly it will change. Tamuz is the root of all the dinim. Everything is the other way around. Completely. Afuch. And how is the din described in Tamuz? First of all, we have to understand that Tamuz is the root of all the dinim. People think it's Av. People think Av is the bad month. Tamuz is the strict month. Later on, soon after we're going to have our Rosh Chodesh meal, we'll have another little class. I want to explain more specifically about that with the combination of Tamuz and Av. But nevertheless, Tamuz is the root of dinim. How is this judgment expressed in Tamuz? And we need to understand how to sweeten it. Now, in Tikkunei Zohar, it says that every month has a certain verse that will show the order of the letters, and from that verse we can learn what the tikkun is. You follow? I'll say it again. Tikkunei Zohar, it explains there that for every month, let's say Yud Kei Vav Kei is the month of Nisan. So what is the verse that corresponds to Nisan? Yismechu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz. Look at the first letter of Yismechu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz. Yud, Hey, and then a Vav, and then a Hey. That's why we sing next to the Torah, Yismechu hashamayim. Why? Yismechu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz. Yud Kei Vav Kei. Rachamim, just bring me a lot of rachamim I need. So again, in Tikkunei Zohar, there's always going to be a verse that will teach me what is the order of the letters, and not only that, what in the verse will be the hint. What's Ismechu Hashamayim v'tagel haaretz? Abundance. Shefa. Get everything you want. Unbelievable. What is Tamuz? The Yud Kei Vav Kei is completely opposite. It's not the way how the letters are mixed are completely afuch. Hey Vav, Hey Yud. Reading it backwards. So everything is the other way around. This is Complete din. Strong, the most strongest dinim in the month of Tamuz. But the tikkun is hinted in the verse, like I just said. Now, what is the verse of Tamuz? Let's go back now a few months to the holiday of Purim. In Purim, there's, of course, the hero is Mordechai, we have Esther, we have Achashverosh, and then we have that mean guy, Haman HaRasha. What was the problem with Haman HaRasha? Haman had everything. He had money, he had control, he literally had control. He controlled the kingdom. He had the say, whatever he told Achashverosh should amen. He had everything he can want. There's only one thing that bothered him, one little splinter that bothered him. You know what? Mordechai didn't bow. One person didn't bow, and he says, nothing is worth for me. Shum davar lo shaveh li. I don't need anything. I have billions of dollars, fame, power, control, everything that I need. One little detail is not what I want. This little Jew is not bowing to me. Kol ze eneno shaveh li. That's what he says. That's what Haman says in the Megillah. All this that I have is not worth it to me. On the flip side, sometimes can be a very rich individual, a king, a rich person, and he has a very sick son. Lo aleinu. He says, all that I have is worth, I will give anything just for my son to be healthy. This is on a positive side. Haman was the complete opposite. It says, all this wealth, all this power, all the fame is not worth it for me. So again, what does Haman say? Kol ze eneno shaveh li. Read the Sofei Otiyot, or read it in the right order. Hey Vav, Hey Yud. Backwards. Excuse me? Kol, forget about kol. Kol is just the in the sentence. Ze eneno shaveh li. Ze. Kol ze eneno shaveh li. All this is not worth it for me. So eneno, you have to look at the last letters, what's called Sofei Otiyot. So eneno, ze eneno shaveh li. It's Sofei Otiyot, the last letters. Hey Vav, Hey Yud. Complete opposite. Tamuz. So the tikkun is in the verse of Haman Kol Ze Eneno Shaveh Li. Now, I told you that the verse is hinting on what's the tikkun. So what's the tikkun in this verse? Kol Ze Eneno Shaveh Li. All this is not worth for me. Is the complete opposite. What did he complain? Nothing was good enough. I have money, not good enough. I have fame, not good enough. You're the number one citizen, not good enough. I want him to bow. Going back to what we started, that's Korach. Korach had money, Korach had fame, he had power, he had wisdom, he had everything. He only wanted one thing, and that he says, I call Zelo Shaveli, I don't want it. All or nothing. I just want this little detail, like a spoiled brat. That's Haman, that's Korach. What's the tikkun here? Is Hakol Shaveli. Everything is worth for me. That's the tikkun. Hakol Tov. Everything is good. Be happy with what you have. To see the good in everything. Ain Tova. This is what it says in the Mishnah. What is the best way? Ain Tova. You see the good in everything. This is called Hakarat Tov. Gratitude. You're thankful for everything. Everything that I have, be thankful. Haman and Korach, not good. What are you complaining? What are you complaining? I gave you everything. One thing you don't have, Korach, so you're not a Kohen, big deal. Haman, one thing you don't have, a person is not bowing to you. Kol ze lo shaveh li. So what's the tikkun? Hakol shaveh li. You have $1, say thank you, you have $1. You have a 2-bedroom apartment, say thank you. I know you want a 4-bedroom apartment, say thank you, you have 2. Ain Tova, you see the good in everything. In every person, there's something good. Every situation, there's something good. Everything that Hashem does to you is good. Hakol Tov. Hakol Tov. Thank you, Hashem. Everything is amazing. Most people complain all day long. This is the tikkun of this month. Now we're in the beginning of the month. Now you book your tickets. You do your reservation. Rosh Chodesh. Everything merosh. Now you make the switch. Hakol Tov. Everything is good. My life is perfect. You know, the Baal HaSulam says something very, very interesting. If you're missing something, parnasa, you need to get married, health, whatever. Don't pray for what you're missing. Thank for what you have. Don't go like that. Hashem, I need parnasa. Say thank you, Hashem, because I have health. We tend to cry and whine and complain of what I don't have. Why don't you be grateful for what you do have? And that's how you get what you don't have. So the tikkun of the month, extreme din, the judgment in the month of Tamuz, is the most of all. We're going to now commemorate in a few weeks, Yud Zayin Tamuz. In the next class, I'm going to explain how Tamuz and Av go together. I'll explain it more in length, that there was a fight between Esav and Yaakov, and Esav took from Yaakov the month of Av and Tamuz. But Yaakov was able to take some back. We'll talk about it later. That's why the beginning of Tamuz and the end of Av, they belong to Yaakov. They're good. The middle of Tamuz and the beginning of Av belongs to Esav. It's bad. But nevertheless, the tikkun of Tamuz is to sweeten all these dinim. How do you sweeten? Just thank Hashem for everything. For everything that you have. Don't look at what you don't have. It's very easy to look at what you don't have. Look at what you have. You have your health. You have money. You have a house. You have a wife. You have kids. You have teeth. You can chew. Some people don't have teeth. I went with my kid not too long ago to the dentist. Some person doesn't have teeth. How can you eat with no teeth? Say thank you, I have teeth. But I only have 3. But you have more than 2. Say thank you. So the point, what we want to concentrate on the month of Tammuz, especially in the beginning, is to be grateful for everything. Ayin tova. Akol shaveh. Don't complain. What is this? This is what you're giving me? Yeah. Instead of saying, this is what you're giving me, thank you so much for giving me. Be grateful. You know what it means, hakarat tov? Thank your wife for everything. Thank your husband. Thank your rabbi. Thank your teacher. Thank everybody. The cab driver, thank you. Everybody who does something for you, don't take it for granted. Thank everybody. Toda Hashem, toda, toda. All day long, just thank the Kadosh Baruch Hu for everything that you have. That's the tikkun for Chodesh Tammuz. That's how you sweeten all the dinim to Rachamim. That's where we can flip everything around. So don't miss the opportunity. Now we're in the head of the month. You can make the reservation ahead of time. You take on yourself this edition, and you have the opportunity to sweeten all the judgments. And Bezrat Hashem, with this, we can not only sweeten the judgments for the month of Tammuz, is to sweeten the judgments Bechlal, for all the dinim and the decrees that are coming from Shamayim. Bezrat Hashem, it says that these days of mourning of Tammuz and Av will turn to Yemei Simcha. So it all depends on us. And just remember, Hakol Tov, Hakol Shaveli. Not like Haman, Kol Ze Eino Shaveli. Take away the word Eino. Kol Ze Shaveli. Everything is worth. Sometimes you go to a place, you came all the way here and that's what I get? Yeah. Hakol Shaveh. Everything is good. Look at everything be'ayin tova. Korach, I told you, he saw already the Hanhaga of Igulim. Hakol Tov. Everything is good. Everything is perfect. He was a little bit ahead of his time, so it became a sin. But the Ain, the circle, the same thing, Ain Tova. You know, the words of the Mishnah, very deep words. When the Tana says Ain Tova, it's not only talking about you have a nice blue eye. You see everything in the good. You see the good in everything. Hakol Tova. Everything is good. Kol man derachman ha'avid letavavid. Everything that Hashem does, He does for the good. Hakol Tova. And if you need a little chizuk, go here. 5-minute walk to the grave of Gamzu Letova, and that's it. Just pray there. Hakol Letova. Bezrat Hashem, Hashem should bless you with an amazing, sweet month, successful month, and they should all be good. We should be the good in everything. Bezrat Hashem, the ultimate good that we should finally see with our own eyes, the coming of Mashiach. Chodesh Tov.